Hello Amiga nerds, welcome back to Something Else Amiga. What do we have in store for you today? Today I got a nice big bunch of things to configure from Mr. Bob. So Mr. Bob, here is your stuff. Lots of stuff. Mr. Bob, we have been exchanging emails, so some bits were donated to me. Greatly appreciated. I really do appreciate it. And along with his stuff to figure out and get working. So with the unit, he sent me the board, the drive tray, a CD-ROM for it. We have a GoTech from Amiga Kit and a FB354 880K. In this, what was assumed to be a 1.76 meg Amiga drive, this is a model FG357, which I triple checked just to make sure I'm not nuts. This is a PC high density floppy drive. You can get this to work as an 880K Amiga drive by a pin 2 and 34 flip as normal. This has never been touched. SCSI SD has some goofy partitions. Video seems to work fine with a Commodore 1080, but to the user's video capture card it's really extremely faint. He sent his video capture card in that box. I'm going to hook all this up. He even has the Chinesium SCART cable box thing that I use on some of my Amigas. Full-size microwave. It's called an A2000. It doesn't do AGA graphics. It was just, of course, Mr. Bob's SCSI SD with unknown workbench. I think it's workbench 2. There's a flip box in here. I'm going to try and see if I can get working, and diagram for something low and high, probably a 1200. Now if you have two cards in your machine, this is a GVP, this is a GVP, they're going to overlap each other in the 02 memory address space, so you have to watch that. You can't run two 8 meg cards, only one of them is going to work. Mr. Bob also has the Mega chip, which you can't get working. So I got my work cut out for me, and we're going to do an initial fire up and see what the hell's going on. Power engaged. Fires right up. We got a green screen. So that's why you always got to check if you got a working Amiga before you start working on it. Please don't disintegrate socket. Oh, that is loose. Looks okay, but looks can be deceiving. We're going to test it with a known working Agnes. Pin to the right. Just double check. You never know. Wow, off the get-go, bad Agnes. Alright, 2.0 ROMs. Agnes is dead out the box. Nothing lights up on the GoTech. So here we are. Our flash floppy GoTech is on this drive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold both of these buttons in as I turn the unit on, and it'll go to a clear and say program. Update flash, let go, clear, program, boop, 3.39. Blip, 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 and nothing. CIAs. 1, 2. I'm going to flip them. Reason for flipping them is see if you can have the same problem. 3 clicks of death and nothing. So that's interesting. Just doing the chip check just to make sure we're in. Buster, I'm not using you. Gary's got marks all over him. I guess it's for the DKB, counting pins. Does this drive even work? 1, 2, 3, and doop. So, we are not booting any external stuff. This board has had battery damage, but it's been masked. So, I have no GoTech. I have no nothing, so the internal stuff's not going to work. Now, 3 clicks of death. Cujo's, something's going on up there. And I'm going to pull Denise out. These look good. Shiny. It's like they've been retinned. I hate this ROM with a passion. 204. My official ROM from Hyperion. There we go. And 314 Boing Ball. By the way, a closer inspection of this board involves taking this daggone plate off. Every Amiga's got a story. And this one's story is something. Alright, so we got a excessively long battery post that could be poking. And the connector's rusted. So is this one, so is this one. So, I don't know if this is going to show. I'm going to grab the poker. And I'm going to start, where am I at? Right here. On the angle, this is something. Then you got something here. See that? But if you look all the way across, It's got like something. And then up here, and over here, see all these little shiny marks? They're like something. Over here on the bus, something. It just catches your eye. There's Agnes right here. Oh, there's something here. Around there. So, oh god.
This isn't the biggest bag over the head.
You can see this. That's not motherboard color. Oh, it goes all the way over here. Okay, so I'm gonna Goober the crap out of this thing. You know, you're not the first boyfriend to touch her. Other dudes have poked on this thing quite a bit. Some stuff going on up here that I have to really dig into. 5:47 p.m. on Omnibot from just shy of 10 o'clock the next day. Here's something weird. 512K Agnes. J101 is in 2 and 3. R900 is closed. Doesn't have to be, but that's fine. That just addresses some RAM a little differently. It slows chip RAM down for DMA access. No big deal. But the screen keeps going out. I don't know if the jumper's not making contact, but I don't know what the points look like underneath. This guy, this guy, this guy, that guy. That's how your RAM is addressed. I don't know if you can see the ghosting, but check this out. I'm going to zoom in here, and you'll see some red maybe around the letters. Yeah, look at the number 4 down here. See how it's ghosted? Well, it's all over the place. It's all ghosting. And what will happen is I'll just let it sit here, and the screen will just blip out. Chip RAM, 512K, and fast is none. Internal disk drive is okay, but it's not okay. There's like additional solder on the bottom of this Agnes. See those dots? That's not supposed to be there. Ta-da! New fat lady socket. Cool. Please read my coffee cup, Amiga. Please read my coffee cup. Hi, it's way later, 7:30. I busted out the actual paper copy of the system schematics for the Amiga 2000. So I can get to the floppy mofo portion here on this page that you may or may not be able to see. These were the hand-drawn models that were later readapted to the scale paper here. I apologize if you really can't see that, but these are the actual schematics. And what I'm looking for on here is Gary, because Gary is a lot of your floppy functions like drive wake, write enable, write deny, motor select, stuff like that. So I want to make sure those, even though they're running, I want to make sure that he's getting the signal. So which means I'm going to have to clean up the soldering station and bust out the freaking oscilloscope. Hello, it's several days, maybe even a week later on this 2000 board of weirdness. I haven't even gotten to figuring it out yet because I'm trying to fix the floppy access. So I fired up the old Sprint layout viewer with the Amiga 2000 Gerber's Rev. Damn it. Anyway, my recycling blew over and blew all across the yard and through the neighborhood. I have to go clean it up, but I want to go over this. I pinned out the floppy connector right up in here, right up here. Sorry the board is blue. That little pink line you see blinking, right? And it goes down to Gary, and from here it goes to the 11th or 12th pin on Denise. I have continuity here, I have continuity here, but I do not have continuity between here and here. God damn it! Circle to circle. Sorry, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. But, yeah. I'm going to have to put a wire there and then see how that goes. So I was just in mid-flight, and I have to go clean up garbage. So I'll be back in a little while. It is 10:11. I'm homesick from work because I have the flu or a cold or something. And in between takes, I'm blowing my nose and making a lot of noise. Useless information, but thought I'd share. Hey, welcome back. It's a little later. I had spent the better part of 45 minutes running around picking up my overturned recycle bin contents in the property next door and the big field behind me. I have a cold, so that's not good on the body. So I went to hop in my truck and drive it to pick up the contents. Yet when I was picking up the contents, I had dropped my keys somewhere in the field next door to me, which took me a while to find, being blown over several times. This is useless information, but I just have to share it. So I found my keys, haul the 55-gallon recycle bin back up to the house, and then proceed to drive my truck around picking up the remaining contents. Almost got my truck stuck in the lower field because it's pure mud. Anyway, here I am. I'm back. I looked at the original schematics, and the pin that is the problem is DKRD, which means what? Disc ready. Disc insert, right protect, all this stuff works, but it's not ready. So it's not ready. So I got the soldering iron heating up. I got some blue enameled wire. I'm going to jumper those pins, and I'm going to see if this mofo finally does it. Now, I'm still under the problem with 512K RAM on a 1 meg machine, so I mean, not even there yet. So I got that wire soldered together. I got my Gotek hooked up. Let's see if we get this. So I'm going to just turn this on. Disc ready should make it work. Let me get test kit is in the Gotek. Let's see what happens. Alright, I have a white screen. That's the pass. The disc is fixed. Hot damn. That only took me a while. Alright, memory. This is still an issue. Haven't even got to that. This was supposed to be a quick configure, not a redo. So I can't even get this thing figured out yet. Got the disc working at least, thankfully. It has an 8372A. My Agnes, new socket, and now I have to figure out the 1 meg jumper stuff. So I'm going to have to tone out J101 and see what's going on with it. Now I'm going to turn this off for just a second, and I'm going to jumper this the other way. Here we go, booting going to be a test kit, memory, half meg. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not even seeing this jumper. So either J101 is burnt slap up, or, I mean, it doesn't matter if I move it. I even replaced the jumper. So it is in the 1 meg address space. Well, at least getting the disk drive working helps tremendously. Amiga without a disk drive is a useless Amiga. CIAs, let's just check them. I don't know. They're all good. Okay, all tests passed. Amiga test kit's more friendly than Diagram on NTSC machines. Just because you have resistance doesn't mean you have continuity, and it had a high resistance on that line, so something was busted off of that little pathway somewhere. This board's got a lot of scratches underneath the bottom, and that could be contributing to the Agnes issue too. I'm going to have to probably pin out Agnes, which is a just wonderful blessing. Okay, so balancing the teeter-totter of whatever, DF1 is now the Gotek, DF0 is the floppy. I'm going to do a head calibration test on old DF0 here. 11 of 11, just 40, 11 of 11, and 79, 11 of 11. I like Amiga Test Kit 1.18 because you have steps, middle, first, middle, and last tracks. So I'm going to have to bust out, find what I did with my lithium grease. I'm going to roll the stepper motor. Oh, we got a chunky spot. Now it's moving. You see it clicking along? Well, maybe not. That's a reseek. By my oil is I'm using this oil, and I put a drop on the copper bushing that this shaft worm gear spins in, and that helps that both spin a little better. Plus it's got a little tiny applicator. Found it after forever knocking everything over and initializing disk. It did it. It did it. Okay, so we're back together. I have my 3.2 point whatever libraries disk in. Opens. Look at that. Nice. So, floppy disk. Fixed. I gotta put the faceplate on. My Agnes is a 1 meg Agnes, unless it's some line between something. I tell you. That was Mr. Q telling me that there's some issues. 322 is soft kick is buggy. That's why I have so many issues. So I wrote. There's nothing on working is just that. Bench is workbench, which is Why would you name a bench like an HD toolbox? This SCSI SD is weird because it's workbench, working. This is never going to working. Bench working. I don't know. The fourth partition's never going to show on this ROM because it's not large enough and it's doing the wraparound. I have the flicker fixer card in. I am using my adapter just to see if this works. This is nothing at all. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. Nothing. I'm going to turn this off. Regardless of everything I've done to this board and looking at all the fixes and the Agnes lines and the Gary lines and everything, it's weird. The user's DKB mega chip does work if I use CPU pin 48. Gary 36, no dice. 1.5 meg. So the board is not addressing the correct amount of RAM, but the Agnes is at least there now. Look what we got. 1 mega chip RAM. What happened? I double stacked some RAM, 44256Ks, on these bad boys to figure out which one it is. So I'm going to verify that by removing all of my stacks. It's not on the first 512. I have 8 of these chips, and I just double stacked it. See, I just stacked it right on top. Skipping all this, 1024K. So watch, I'm going to remove this chip. Take this off, right? Just take it over here. Push the button again. Skip it. 512K. Put this chip back on. 44256K. On that third one, my stomach is growling like it owes somebody money. Turn it back on. And we should get a mega chip RAM. Which means I'll have to desolder that puppy and 1 mega chip RAM. Yay! I can't leave it like that. I will put it in the socket. So we're good again on that, which is nice. So I'm going to take all of this apart and desolder that bad chip and replace it with a socketed one. Old chips out. There we go. I am so glad that this is finally sourced and pieced back together. This was supposed to be just a configuration, not a repair, which ended up turning into a multi-week repair and diagnosis of strange findings. Hey, you know it wouldn't be a video without my phone blowing up. There we go, 4.3 and climbing. So it looks like we're good to go on the RAM. So it's another day and I'm working on Mr. Bob's machine again. I am printing a mount for the SCSI SD. So here is my 314 ROM. It's my official Hyperion ROM, and I'm giving him a copy of the discs too because I got like 12 of them because I bought it like 12 times. I kind of have a couple Amigas. And just like that, it's done. That literally took no time at all. Now remember, multiple thousands of megahertz, 7 megahertz. 7 megahertz, there you go. System, there's 314. This is the work icon, DF1 unreadable because I have a DF0 terminator in there. There's a basic nothing workbench. And you get some disk utilities and some stuff on here. Here's the SCSI to SD and its little 3D printed dude, by the way. Just screws onto the back. I got 4 little quarter 20 nuts on the front. That's American for non-metric. This is my iOmega cable from my zip drive. It does not like this drive. This drive has the click of death. It doesn't even. Give me a desk. Well, shoot. Alright, this drive's toast. Out with this drive. I'm going to grab my zip drive. My zip drive with the crumbled up sticker on the bottom. Yeah, see? SCSI light. That works. So, I'll just send this drive back with the machine, and this broken one's... I don't know what to deal with this thing. This thing's it's got some hot glue around it, or some crazy glue around it. Yep, look at that. Zip drive. I'll just send this cartridge and this drive back with Mr. Bob. That way he'll have a working zip drive. So there you go. Works right out of the box. Just plugged it in, booted it, external SCSI. Then I just have one more thing to find. A long SCSI cable that I can drape across here underneath what will be the drive tray around here, right to about here behind Denise, because that's where the power supply is going to sit, and that way I can get a cable in here for the user to have a CD-ROM that is right here. Same CD-ROM drive I had in my Amiga 2000. It's actually the drive from my Amiga 2000. So SCSI SD10, ID1, you saw how I made those. Omega Zip Poo, ID5. Mr. B just couldn't get his stuff working, so he sent me the entire box, like everything. Here's all my stuff. Make it work, which is what I'm doing. Okay, so zip drive, cartridge power supply cable, my zip drive, his zip drive with the crazy glue and the I don't know, don't work. So we'll do that with that one. So I have a L fold in here that's going to go across. No big deal. I gotta glue this down. Just put some hot glue on it because it's just pegs sticking out for the SCSI to SD. The bracket's bolted in, but just pegs on the, and with this extra stress from this tile and tuck right there. I'm using the last Zorro slot for a reason. And that's so I can just sit this stuff right here. Originally it will go like this and it'll sit like this, okay? And I want the pin to be upwards like this when it's in the 2000. So the SCSI cable will be facing up like this and not getting sucked into the power supply. But for now, it's just going to sit wherever the hell I sit it. The original Amiga OS 3.9. We're not putting 3.9 on here. I just need a CD. And devs. DOS drivers. CD0 for Amiga I. Change this to GVP. Whoops. SCSI.device. Unit 2. SCSI ID. And we're say save. And now, in theory, I shouldn't have to reboot. I should, but I'm just going to double click CD0. And Amiga OS 3.9 just pops up right on the screen. Isn't that awesome? Double click. Here's Amiga OS 3.9. Now this is a double speed CD-ROM, so it is not super fast. Disc slides out. Put the disc back in. Watch the screen. And there's your CD and the emergency boot floppy, which is basically, you can hear that drive. It's copy of Workbench 3.9. Cool, huh? Now, is this machine powerful enough to run it? No, you need a 6220 or better to have 3.9. And to make it 2000, that's been repaired. We have a zip drive, we have a SCSI drive, and, well, his zip drive's dead, but I'm going to give him my zip drive. Found a cable in my drawer right here that I did a tile and tuck to make it so this will sit in the 2000's case once she's all back in. And the DF01 drives were also done. So Mr. B, like me, has this. I should see something on the screen, okay? This is HDMI out to my HDMI. There's nothing on this screen. These are 30 bucks, so. Alright, take this one out. Grab mine. There we go. See how you see that? Source, SCART, okay? Now, if I plug this SCART cable in, because the Amiga's running still. Now, is it great? No, because these freaking cables are ghetto junk. If I touch this, look at this. This cable is just S. But it works. It's clear. Sorta. This cable's really jacked. Put this back in the box. These always break, so don't expect these to last long. Especially if you leave them plugged in all the time. Here on the screen is an Amiga 2000's butt. Backside, the good side. Anyway, video port, parallel port, disk drive, audio, serial. Okay? Video port. How the hell I suppose use the stupid flip box. Oh, I can plug it in. Yep. Lalafa Flipbox Nano. You might get not even a couple $100K out of this if you're lucky. So, that's useless. One more thing on Mr. Bob's setup. He sent me this USB capture card to test. And as you can see, there's Pi Amiga 3, which is right there. So I can deactivate, activate. As you can see, I can play a demo. Not going to turn the sound on, but that's Pi Amiga running 9 fingers in OBS over this capture card. And you can see the little blue light capturing. So I'll put that back in the box. I have completed my tasks that have been asked of me. I repaired the Amiga. So we have DF0, DF1, DF0, DF1. Got the floppy drive fixed, thankfully. We lubed the rails. We upgraded the ROM to 3.1.4. Went through the whole machine. Fixed a couple boo-boos on the disk change line to Paula. That screwed me over for a while. We replaced the Agnes socket. We lost an Agnes. I replaced it out of my stock. 3D printed a cover for the SCSI to SD on this GVP 4008 HC8. Put a new SCSI cable on here. I will return the user's short one in case they choose not to run the CD-ROM. A Gotek as DF1. You saw the machine just booted off DF0 for Amiga Test Kit. And we're going to boot Dread. Oh, there's Dread. There is new game. We're going to go very easy because I suck. I'm not a gamer, but that's Dread on a 7 megahertz Amiga on a Gotek. I'm glad that boots because I get tired of using my only good Dread disc. So as you can see, our Amiga 2000 is working. All the peripherals that I've tested, that I was asked to test, are now functioning in one way, shape, or form. That SCART box is kind of iffy. So this has been a very long extended repair. I've had this machine for just shy of 3 weeks now. Most of the time was spent configuring stuff. So I just wanted to document the configure, show that it works. I mean, it's working fine. You can see I'm playing Dread and sound and everything, so it's all good. So Mr. Bob, by the time this video comes out, I hope you are rocking along in its case and send me a photo or something. That's all I got for now. Thank you guys for coming along on this different of a repair, configuration, upgrade, test, and stuff for the Amiga 2000. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?